Hi, my name is Jodi Barber, and I'm here because I'm here to talk about drugs, and in particular pills, prescription pills from a doctor, as well as heroin. Now, how many of you know somebody that smokes pot? Okay. How many of you know somebody that takes pills? Has any of you heard of a pill called Opana? Anybody? No? No?
Yeah.
You have? Have you?
I've heard of it. I don't know what it is.
You don't know what it is? Okay. Opana is an opiate. It's a heavy-duty painkiller, and it's 100 times worse than Oxycontin. And it's supposed to be only for terminal cancer, where doctors, some dirty doctors, are prescribing it to kids. And this is one of the pills that my son had in the system when he died. The pills are highly addicting. They're expensive. They're $60 to $70 and a pill, and now they're addictive. They're so addicting that it may not be the first time, but the second time you're hooked and you crave them and you need them. And because they're expensive, now the tar heroin that's much cheaper, that's $5, is also a huge problem and an epidemic. Beautiful, gorgeous kids like you guys are hooked on heroin. Beautiful cheerleaders are hooked on heroin. I deal with this every day because I have a smaller version of this poster, and it's in Windows. It's an 11 by 17 poster. This is just a few of the kids in our area that have died. There's been over 100 in South Orange County, from here at Huntington Beach to San Clemente. Over 100 who have died in the last 3 years, ages 15 to 24. There's been over 400 in all of Orange County in the last 4 years. And Orange County is now #2 in the nation for overdose deaths. So it's an epidemic. It's a huge, huge problem. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, to save a life, to keep a family from going through the tragic thing that happened to me and my family. My son left behind a 17-year-old brother who is devastated. He lost his best friend. And Jared told him that he would kill him if he ever started smoking pot or drinking, because he hated that feeling. At the beginning, it was fun for Jared, to smoke out. And towards the end, he hated it. His anxiety got worse. He'd have to wake up. He craved it. It's laced with stuff. He'd have to wake up and start his day by leaving the house to go smoke out and start his day. So he asked for help. So a friend gave him a quarter of a pill called Opana, and that pill was cut into quarters. So he's thinking it's okay because it's a quarter of a pill. Well, it's not okay, because when you cut it in half and when you quarter it and you crush it, you're removing that outer coating. And this is a 12-hour release opiate that now is an immediate release to the brain. And if you don't die the first time, you will end up dying. Jared, it took one time to overdose. You'll see in this documentary that I made that a lot of the kids overdosed several times, and they're still here, luckily, thank God. But it only took once for Jared. And so anyway, because of my posters, a beautiful mother named Christine saw the poster, asking to help me, spread awareness and educate. And we decided to produce a film called Overtaken, made for schools, and it's now going across the United States and doing very well. And it consists of several young adults who were addicts and overcame it. They are clean, and this is to show you that there's hope out there. There's help out there, and there's resources to get you help. So if you have a friend that is taking pills, have them watch it. Go onto my website, One Choice Can Destroy It, get help. Don't just do nothing about it, because they will either die, or you'll see what happens in the film, what happened to a couple of them who overdosed on pills. And not to be afraid to call 911. If you're at a party and you see your friends nodding off or falling asleep, please call 911 because you can save their life. And you can block your cell phone. They won't know if you've been, doing something you're not supposed to be, like drinking underage. Don't be afraid to call 911 and save a life of your friend, because otherwise you will have that on your shoulders for the rest of your life.
My name is Blake Kinsey. I was in the movie there for a second. I'm a recovering drug addict and alcoholic. To start off, I just want to let you guys know what my goal is for you guys today. It's not to, I don't want you guys to think that I'm telling you that you are something, okay? That you are a drug addict, that you are an alcoholic, or where your life might be going, because I have no idea. I have no clue. I had a lot of people when I was this age. What grade are you guys in here? Mostly freshmen? Okay, so this is the exact time that I started doing drugs. I was 14 years old, and I played football, and I broke my hand playing football. I got some pain pills for it, and I saved them up for a little bit. Somebody told me I could get high from them, and I ended up getting high for the first time on these pills. And for me, what it did is it got me out of myself. Okay, I had no idea what getting high was. I didn't know what it meant to like smoke weed and feel good or feel light or anything. I had no idea. I just knew that I didn't like really how I felt. Like I didn't really fit in with that many people. I was kind of an awkward kid. I was chubby. The girls didn't like me. The guys didn't want to hang out with me. And when I did drugs, I took these pills. All of a sudden I felt good. And people were laughing at me, laughing with me, and they wanted to hang out with me a little bit more because I was crazy, and that made me feel good. Okay, because all I wanted was to just like be accepted by some friends and have people to hang out with and stuff. What happened though is what started off as just fun. It's like the first stage, at least from what I've seen in my experience of where drug addiction took me. Okay, it started off with fun. It was just fun. It wasn't all the time. It wasn't every day. It was just some pills, smoking some weed, drinking a little bit of parties. And it was fun. It was a good time. I would do it on the weekends, hang out with my buddies. We'd have a good time. That went on for a little bit, and it didn't take long, maybe a couple of months, until it went to stage 2, which I call fun with some problems. So now it's still fun. It's still a good time, but I'm starting to see some issues. It's not terrible. My life wasn't ending. I wasn't in prison. I wasn't dead. People weren't really dying yet, but things were slowly starting to happen. When I was about maybe 17 or 18 years old, stage 3 happened, and that was just problems. It wasn't even fun anymore. And I'm 22 years old right now. I stopped using when I was 20, and so for that last 2.5 years, it wasn't even fun. Like I wasn't even getting high. I wasn't enjoying myself. It wasn't like it was when I was 14 and 15. Because what happens with these drugs, especially pills, and at the top of it, heroin, they're all called opiates. And your body gets this physical dependence on them to where I can start off taking like 1 or 2 or something, and I feel good. I do that for a few weeks in a row, and then all of a sudden 1 or 2 is not doing it, so now I got to take 3 or 4. Okay, and that just climbs and climbs and climbs. Now it gets to the point where if I stop taking those drugs, just altogether one day just stop, I start throwing up, I have diarrhea, I have chills, and I'm sweating at the same time. I can't sleep, but I can't really stay awake. My body aches. It's like the flu times 10. And that's how it was for me. Every single morning I woke up like that. And so I had to do the drugs. Now that's not fun. If it sounds like fun, you might have some other problems, but for me it wasn't fun. I woke up every day like that, and I had to get my fix. Problem is drugs cost money, right? And I was running out of it because it's pretty expensive. So my tolerance is rising. Now I need more and more drugs to just feel kind of normal and be able to walk around, try to act like a normal person. And so I need more and more, so I need more and more money, and the money's running out. I don't know what to do. I get into a life of what I thought was fun stuff. I still tricked myself and thought it was fun. I still thought, like I was in the rap videos or something like that. Totally disillusioned. My mind, I was insane. I started seeing a lot of people start going to prison. People kind of just fading out. And that's where I remember thinking like, okay, maybe this isn't good. Maybe I might go that same direction, but I just didn't care. Because the drugs had spun my head up so much that the #1 priority in my life was that fix. Like one of the guys, Cole, said in the movie, he's talking about his mom and running her over and stuff. And that's exactly where my mind was. I would have had no problem running my mom over, no problem. Today I would. Today I'd be like, well, that's not good. She's my mom. I don't want to run her over. But back then, anything that came between me and my stuff, my drugs or money, it didn't matter. I would demolish it. Relationships, my family, my friends. Any money I made went directly to it. I couldn't hold a job. I've had about 10 jobs from the time I was 16 to 19, I think. My whole life was just a wreck. And finally, at the last day that I got high, it was March 25th, 2010, And I got all the rest of my last paycheck that I just gotten fired from my last job, took all the rest of that money, I put it in a spoon, I was ready to get high, and I was okay with dying at that point. I wasn't really suicidal, but I remember getting this fix ready. I said a little prayer. I said, God, when I die in a minute, because it's not a question of if, I'm going to die. I know that. It's going to happen because the amount I'm about to do is not healthy. I'm going to just die. So when I die, can I just go to heaven? Because I'm sick of hell down here. That's what it felt like to me. I thought that I was just in hell every single day. I did the shot of drugs and I woke up and I was alive. Something happened and I called one of my siblings for some help. And I've been sober ever since that day. March 26, 2010 is my sobriety date. I know that when I was first getting into it, I'd already started. So I didn't really know, like, what do I do now? I mean, people would come to the schools and talk to me, other, cops and stuff, the teachers would tell us things. And I would just be like, you have no idea what you're talking. You don't know what I'm going through. You have no clue what you're talking about. Something they never told me that they always said, don't do it. Because if you do it, you're going to go to jail, you're going to die. That's it. Just don't do it. None of them ever told me, hey, if you have already started, though, there's a way out. I never heard that. And that's what I want to share with you guys today, that there is a way out. It's all over the place. We live in South Orange County, California. It's like the mecca in the world for recovery, drug treatment centers, 12-step meetings. Alcohol and drug recovery is like huge here. And it's no coincidence because alcohol and drug abuse is number 2 in the country here. It's huge. In the whole nation, number 2, where you guys live, right here. I just want you guys to know, if you haven't done it, just save yourself the trouble. Save yourself the hundreds of thousands of dollars that I blew on it. Save yourself having to watch your best friends die right in front of you. Save yourself from having to hear your mom and your dad and your step-parents look at you bawling, crying because you've stolen every single thing they own twice now. Save yourself the physical pain of having to get off of the drugs. Save yourself the misery of just being okay with death. Like, death sounds like a good idea because I'm so miserable alive. Save yourself from it. If you're already in that and you're thinking, well, crap, he just said I'm going to die, there's a way out. There's hundreds, I think 1,500 12-step meetings in South Orange County alone every week. There's tons of recovery centers, and there's probably 1 million people like me who are willing to help somebody else find that help. The last thing I want to say is that I'm trying to think, if I was in your guys' shoes listening to a guy like me talk, my mind would be saying, well, wait, you're saying that I'll die or I'll go to jail or all these bad things will happen, but why are you standing here still? Like I'm alive right in front of you, you know what I mean? And I remember thinking that when I was younger. People were telling me drugs are bad, you're going to die, but I'd see them talking about it. They got out of it, they're fine, so I'll just take my time at it, and I'll be able to get out of it too. I just want you to know that for every person like me that has the blessing of still standing here alive today and talking to you about it, there's probably at least 10 or 20, 50, 100 maybe that are dead that didn't make it. One of the guys in the movie talked about that too. Too many people don't even get the chance to find recovery or to get out of the dark hole that it leads you into, because these drugs just, you have no idea when your time's up. When that one pill, quarter of a pill, whatever it might be, the pills that are out now are so strong, it doesn't take much, and people are one use and just dead. That's it. They didn't even get to really be a drug addict. They just maybe sniffed a line of a pill one time. They're just dead. That's it, their time's up. And that's how these drugs are today.